innovation in emerging areas of science, engineering, and technology. With a strong focus on academic excellence and societal impact, the campus actively organizes faculty development programs, workshops, and research initiatives that contribute meaningfully to capacity building in higher education. At the outset, I extend my respectful and heartfelt welcome to our Honorable Vice Chancellor Sir of IK Gujral Punjab Technical University, Professor Dr. Shri Sushil Mittal ji. Sir, your visionary leadership, steadfast commitment to academic excellence, and strong encouragement toward innovation, research, and interdisciplinary learning to continue to inspire the entire university community. We are truly privileged by your gracious presence with us this evening, sir. We are truly privileged by your presence, sir. I would like to emphasize here that we have a total of about 255 participants from all over India. I would like to express my sincere gratitude to AICTE and the ATAL Academy for their constant support in promoting quality faculty development programs across the country. The faculty development program has been meticulously planned under the guidance and support of our Honorable Vice Chancellor Sir, our Director Sir, our Deputy Registrar Sir, and the organizing team. I take this opportunity to acknowledge their encouragement and cooperation, without which this program would not have been possible. I want to extend a warm welcome to all our esteemed resource persons and participants who will join us from various institutes and industries from India and abroad. Your presence and active participation will undoubtedly make this FDP a fruitful and enriching experience for everyone involved. Once again, I warmly welcome our Honorable Vice Chancellor Sir and other distinguished personalities. Now, I would like to invite our esteemed coordinator of the course, Dr. Vipul Sharma ji, to please say a few words about the course. Please, Vipul sir.
It is indeed a great honor and privilege to begin this inaugural session by expressing my heartfelt gratitude to our Honorable Vice Chancellor, Professor Sushil Mittal ji, for his constant guidance, support, and encouragement. Sir, your gracious presence today adds immense value and significance to this faculty development program. Your unconditional support in organizing academic and research-oriented initiatives has been a continuous source of motivation for the faculty and has greatly contributed to fostering a culture of innovation and excellence at our university. We are gathered here today at a time when the healthcare sector is undergoing rapid and significant transformation. The expectations from modern healthcare systems are increasing, and traditional approaches alone are no longer sufficient to address the growing complexity and demands of patient care. In this context, the objective of this AICTE ATAL sponsored 6-day faculty development program on emerging trends in healthcare and medtech innovations for better future is both timely and highly relevant. This program aims to bridge the existing knowledge gap among educators, researchers, and healthcare professionals and to provide them with practical insights and updated knowledge to effectively integrate these emerging technologies into teaching, research, and real world healthcare applications. I sincerely thank ATAL AICTE for sponsoring this FDP, our honorable university authorities for their continuous support, and all the distinguished experts for sharing their time and expertise. I also extend my heartfelt thanks to all the participants for their response and active participation. I wish everyone a highly enriching and successful FDP. Let us make the most of this opportunity to learn, collaborate, and contribute towards building a better, smarter, technology-driven future for healthcare. Thank you and best wishes to all.
Thank you very much, Dr. Vipul Sharma ji. Now, I would like to invite our Honorable Vice Chancellor, Sir, to deliver the inaugural speech. Please, sir.
Thank you, Dr. Prabkiran.
Thank
and Dr. Vipul, Dr. Arora, my dear colleagues, resource persons, dear participants, ladies and gentlemen. We are in the education system, and education is not a static subject. Education is a dynamic subject, and it keeps on changing. New and new information is flowing in the system in all domains, be it engineering, science, medical, or whatnot. So, uh, once we get the requisite qualification, then we enter into the job and we start delivering as per curriculum. But we need to keep ourselves updated, and we need to know what is latest things happening in the world, so that all the expectations what the participants are having from us, we should come up to that. So therefore, the FDPs are the platforms through which we can update our knowledge and hence deliver the quality education for the benefit of the students. Healthcare itself is such a subject which is not confined to the medical professionals only. We need to know about the healthcare domains for the benefit of our own health. It is not that we may visit the doctor or medical specialist only in case of severe problems, but how to keep preventive medicines, that we need to know ourselves. And if we are knowing that how the medicines are performing after entering our body, then our acceptability of taking that medicine will increase. This is my personal experience, that if I know that how a paracetamol tablet can help me in getting relieved of the pain, or can it be used for taking care of my fever also, how the same tablet can be worked, can be useful. So it is very essential to know it, that how it performs. It is not at all required that you need to know the biology subject. It is not that we need to be, as I truly trained in medical profession, only then we can understand. But at least the basic things we can understand. Each of us has that knowledge, and we are all living in a society which is very much a knowledge society. We must need to know that how we can take care of our health and help the society, those who are in a better educated domain, like professors or students, or all citizens are not that privileged to have gone through so much of education. So it becomes our duty to help others also, to know the what are the ways in which we can take care of our health. So, besides the curriculum, besides the structured education, we must be aware, we must help the society by imparting education to the society, and in an informal way. So, to upkeep our knowledge, we need to learn and to know that what are the latest developments. It should not be left to only to the doctors to know that what are the new medicines coming up. This is not only the doctors should know that what are the new ailments which are coming up, but as an awareness, we can also know it. So, if we think from that point of view, then this FDP becomes much more relevant than we think about it. So, I'm sure that the experts, those who are participating in this mission of delivering knowledge, sharing knowledge that would help all the participants, all the delegates to know more about and refresh their knowledge, and that will say increase their quantum of knowledge in the professional arena and help the society to know better and better. Amritsar campus, I'm aware that is doing good work, and they are always taking some initiative for the benefit of the society as well. And one thing more I want to just share and apprise the audience here, that getting this FDP approved from the central government agencies is not an easy job. So, if the government is spending money sponsoring such an event, then it is because that we are a state university and we have that privilege of getting awarded these type of FDPs. We must take the full advantage of this opportunity. Those who are delivering talks, experts, they should also try to give the best of their available knowledge, and the audience should also stick to it, to the schedules, and help in gaining maximum knowledge so that we can help the education system and the society in upkeeping the quality education. Thank you very much. I will not take much time here, but I congratulate the organizers and hope that all the participants will be happy after completing this FDP, and this will be quite useful interactions. I would invite our hosts to take feedback also after the FDP is complete, and let it be shared with the authorities, and improvement scope must be completed. So thank you very much for giving me this opportunity to speak to you all, and I'm very happy to be here at this moment. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir. Indeed, it's our pleasure to have you. Spare your precious time in a nick of time. You always spare some time for us, and you always support us in the nick of time. And we are really enlightened and motivated with your inspiring words. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay. Now I would like to invite our Deputy Registrar, sir, Shri Saurabh Sharma ji, to say something about the course, sir. Please, sir, Saurabh, sir.
Namaskar ji sabhi ko. I'm very grateful to all of you that you have joined and have shown trust in our university and to our organizing team by joining this FDP. And I assure all of you that the experts which have been robbed in by our team to deliver their knowledge during this FDP will not leave us the same learned person. Will be better person, better learned person upon the completion of this FDP. Secondly, now it depends upon all of us how we make the best use of their knowledge and the time, money, and resources being spent during this FDP. See, the government of India, AICTE, UGC, they are the policy makers, and they have, implemented the policy. And now, how we react towards these policies, how we execute these policies, and make best out of it, that depends upon each of us, because we are the participants, we are the learners here. So we are not the teachers here, we are the learners here. So I request all of you to make best out of it. And lastly, the one message I would like to convey to all of you, like, the job of a teacher is not like any other job. We have a very strong and we have a very important responsibility to shoulder, because kind of teachings we will deliver today will create the citizens of tomorrow. So, lastly, I would congratulate Dr. Vipul Sharma and Dr. Kiran Kaur for organizing this FDP, and I hope all of you will enjoy and learn a lot. Thank you. Thanks for connecting.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you so much. Dear participants, thank you very much. I wish you all a pleasant and productive evening. This marks the end of the inaugural session of the FDP. Now we shall proceed with our day of our first, session, and we'll wait till our first guest speaker joins us. So let's wait.
Ma'am, guest speaker has joined.
Has
Dr.
joined,
Deepika
already
Koundal
joined.
has joined.
Okay, so thank you very much, sir. So I would like to tell you that our first session of the first day is by Dr. Deepika Koundal. She is a senior researcher, University of Eastern Finland. It's my privilege to introduce to you to Dr. Deepika. She is an academician, a researcher with deep expertise in artificial intelligence, computer vision, image processing, and deep learning. Dr. Koundal is currently a senior researcher at the University of Eastern Finland and adjunct researcher at Ho Chi Minh City Open University, Vietnam, and a senior associate professor at a college in Dehradun, India. She brings with her research experience, rich academic, and backed by an impressive educational background, including BTech, MTech, PhD in computer science engineering. Her outstanding contributions to research have earned her several prestigious recognitions, including MSCA Seal of Excellence from the European Commission. She has also been honored as the part of the top 2% of scientists worldwide by Stanford University in both 2023 and 2024, reflecting her global impact in the research community. Dr. Koundal has received multiple research excellence awards from leading institutions such as UPES and Chitkara University. Her scholarly contributions include numerous high-quality research publications, several edited books, and multiple patents. She also plays an active role in the academic publishing ecosystem, serving as a guest and associate editor for reputed journals from IEEE, elsewhere, and other prominent publishers. So we are honored to have Dr. Deepika Koundal with us today, and we look forward to gaining valuable insight from her expertise and experience. Now the stage is over to you, ma'am.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. First of all, I would like to give my sincere gratitude for giving me this opportunity to share on these insights related to healthcare, on which I'm working from last 15 years, it's approximately. So let me share my slides first. I believe my screen is visible.
Yes, visible, ma'am. Visible.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So good evening to everyone. So as I told that it's my intense pleasure to be here to share my insights on this topic. So I'm Deepika Koundal from UEF, Finland. So let's start with imagine you are waking up one morning and your smartwatch doesn't just tell you how many steps you took. It tells you that you are at the risk of developing a heart condition in the next 6 months, and your doctor already knows. So, this is not a science fiction, this is healthcare today. So, today I will be talking about emerging trends in healthcare and medtech innovations and how they are reshaping the future of health, moving us from reactive care to predictive, personalized, and preventive care. So, we are living in a time where healthcare faces significant challenges, rising patient numbers, unequal access to care, shortage of skilled professionals, and increasing cost. And at the same time, innovations such as artificial intelligence, telemedicine, wearable devices, and digital health platforms are opening a new possibilities to address these challenges in practical and impactful ways. So during this session, we will begin by briefly understanding the current challenges in healthcare, followed by discussion on key medtech innovations that are shaping today's healthcare ecosystem. So we will look at some real-world examples, especially in the Indian context, and engage in interactive discussions to reflect on how these technologies connect with our roles such as educators, researchers, and innovators. So we will conclude with a future outlook focusing on opportunities and directions for growth. So let me include one point here. So till before moving to Finland, I was just working on that how once the disease has been occurred, how to cure that disease. But now after coming to Finland, what I learned that before occurring the disease, now we are going to predict that the patient could have the possibility to occur or to have that particular disease in coming 4, 5, 10 years. So here we are working on the predictive. We are not working on diagnosis. We are working on predictive, that we are predicting that the future, what is the possibility that the particular patient can have that particular disease. So the healthcare is moving very fast nowadays. So let's start with my some of the achievements, which has already been discussed by Kiran Gorman. So I'm just skipping this slide. So today we will cover, before we dive here, the roadmap for today. So why? We will start with the problem why healthcare needs innovation. Despite incredible clinicians is under strain and needs innovation now more than ever. Then we will explore the technologies changing the landscape, AI, digital health, genomics, and more, focusing on what's real, not hype. And I will ground this with the real world examples and demos to show that how we are proceeding, how these tools actually show up in the care today. Of course, innovations come with risk, privacy, bias, regulation. So we will talk honestly about ethics and safeguards. So finally, we will look ahead to what the future could look like and with what actions each of us can take, no matter what our role is. Think of today as a story from problem to possibility to responsibility. So let's start. So let's start with a simple reality check. So by 2030, 1 in 6 people on this planet will be over the age of 60. That is not a future problem. It's happening right now. So an aging population means more chronic diseases, more complex care needs, and more pressure on the system that are already stretched thin. So if we keep delivering healthcare the same way we always have, reacting only when someone gets sick, we simply won't be able to keep up. That's why this shift matters. So with wearable sensors, we can monitor health continuously, not just during the clinical visits. With early alerts, we can catch problems before they turn into emergencies. And with the care delivered at home, people can stay healthier longer in the place they want to be. So this is the move from reactive care to proactive care, from treating illness to maintaining health. So, and for aging population, that shift isn't optional, it's essential. So let me take this real. Imagine a patient living with diabetes. Instead of checking glucose of a few times a day, they wear a continuous glucose sensor that monitors their levels around the clock. When those levels start to drift into danger, an early alert is triggered before symptoms appear. So that alert leads to a simple action at home, adjusting medication, food, or activity. And because of that early signal, a hospital visit is completely avoided. So this is what modern healthcare looks like. Technology turns emergencies into preventable events and hospitals into a last resort, not the first step. So healthcare today is still mostly sick care. We intervene after disease appears. So medtech gives us a chance to intervene before suffering begins. So we are dealing with aging population, as I told you, rising the chronic diseases, workforce shortages, increasing cost, and unequal access to care. So our system is still largely focused on what we call sick care, treating people after they become ill. So technology gives us an opportunity to change that. So let's see how would we will do this. So India's healthcare system faces multiple challenges: an aging population, growing lifestyle diseases, workforce shortages, and rising cost. So events like the pandemics have further highlighted gaps in access and infrastructure. So in this context, technology is not just supporting the healthcare, it is reshaping it. So these pressures are accelerating innovation in digital. People who are not with this technology background, they must be wondering what is this medtech. So medtech is an intersection of two words, medicine and technology. So medtech isn't just devices in a hospital room. It's a technology designed to support clinical decisions and patient care. That includes devices, softwares, and entire system. They help us do four core things: diagnosis the diseases, treatment, monitoring the patients over time, and increasingly prevent diseases before it escalates. So, artificial intelligence, wearables, uh, robotics, digital therapeutics, and data platform, these are not separate trends. They are all part of the same medtech ecosystem. The real shift isn't the technology itself, it's how tightly technology is now woven into everyday care. So, medtech is how modern medicine scales the expertise. So, as I already discussed, that for decades, healthcare has been mostly reactive. So, we wait until someone is sick, then we respond. But technology allows us to shift to this proactive care, spotting problems earlier and intervening sooner. So, and the next step is predictive care, where data and AI help us anticipate risk before symptoms even appear. So, this shift from reactive to proactive to predictive is how we improve outcomes, reduce the cost, and keep people healthier longer. So, these are a glass of emerging trends in healthcare and medtech. I will discuss all these one by one later on. So, with all this technology, it is easy to think healthcare has become about machines, but one thing hasn't changed. Technology is not care. Care still comes from the people, clinicians, caregivers, and patients themselves. So the role of technology is to support human, not replace them. So when we design with empathy, trust, technology fades into the ground and better care comes forward. So we often confuse innovation with invention. A new gadget can be exciting, but excitement alone doesn't improve health. In healthcare, innovation isn't about what's new, it's about what works. So, true innovation improves the outcome, fewer hospitalization, better quality of life, and more time spent well. So, if technology doesn't change the patient experience or the clinician workflow, it isn't the innovation. Innovation isn't about the shiny devices, it's about improving the outcome, efficiency, and patient experiences, sometimes with simple solutions. So when we talk about AI in healthcare, we often jump straight to the technology, but the real question is simple. Where do you think AI is actually adding the most value today? Is it diagnosis, helping clinicians see patterns we might miss? Is it prevention, spotting the risk early before someone ends up in the ER? Is it the administrative work, reducing the paperwork that burns the clinicians out? Or is it the treatment planning, supporting better, more personalized decisions? What's interesting is that the biggest impact right now isn't always where the health headlines are. Often it's where AI quietly gives time back to clinicians and to the patients. So healthcare is one of the most complex environment we work in, but it also happens to be a perfect fit for the AI. First, it's data rich. So whenever we are trying to make any deep learning model, we need data. So healthcare is one of the complex environment where we are dealing with the data. Every visit, scan, lab results, and not creates data, far more than any human can process alone. Secondly, it's pattern based. Disease progression, imaging findings, medication responses, these follow the patterns that AI is especially good at recognizing. And the third, it's time sensitive. Minutes matter, so sometimes seconds also matters. So it doesn't replace the clinicians. It gives them earlier signals, clearer insights, and more time to focus on patients. That's where the real value is. So when AI works well in healthcare, it's usually because it's doing what machines are generally better at than human. As I told you, in speed, AI can review thousands of records, images, and signals in seconds. That doesn't replace judgment, it accelerates it. It acts as a second opinion. Secondly, consistencies. AI doesn't get tired, distracted, or rushed at the end of a long shift. The same input gets the same output every time. And the third is scalability. Once something works, it can work everywhere across clinics, hospitals, and in various regions without retraining on entire workforce. So these strengths are powerful, but only when we use them at the right places. So we know that what AI can do. AI can classify images, highlight the suspicious regions, assisted a radiologist. So up till now we are doing this, but now AI is doing, we are working in predictive also. We are going to predict the diseases, future diseases earlier, before it strikes. So now this is the part we have to be honest about. AI is not neutral or objective. It reflects the data it was trained on. So if the data has bias, the model will too. Secondly, context blindness. AI is very good at patterns, but not at understanding the full human story. It doesn't know what wasn't documented and what just changed and what feels off in the room. So, and the third is overconfidence risk. AI often sounds certain even when uncertainty is appropriate. So that confidence can be misleading if humans stop questioning the output. So which is why the real danger isn't AI making mistakes, it's human trusting it without oversight. So we need to be sure. AI is powerful, but it has limits. As I told you, it cannot replace empathy and human judgment. It can't understand the emotions of human being, which still requires people. It also struggles with ethical decisions where values and responsibility matters. And for rare cases with limited data, human expertise is essential. And finally, AI is not meant to replace clinicians, but to support them. So the key message is here that AI works best as partner to humans, not as a replacement. So if AI has a strength and real limitations, so what actually works? The answer isn't AI alone, but it isn't humans doing everything manually either. The best model is human plus AI. AI handles what it's good at, like speed, pattern recognition, consistency. It can scan large volumes of data, it can flag the risk, and it surfaces the insights we might miss. But humans handles what AI can't. So context, judgment, ethics, empathy. So we decide what matters and what actions to take. So in this model, AI doesn't replace clinical decision making, it supports it. The clinicians stays accountable, the patient stays at the center, and the AI works quietly in the background. So making care safer, faster, and more consistent. So how do we provide quality healthcare to everyone in a country as large and diverse as India? So as I already discussed this, that today India healthcare system faces multiple challenges because of aging population, rising lifestyle diseases like diabetes, heart conditions, and limited access in the rural areas and increasing healthcare cost. So these pressures are pushing the healthcare system to rethink how healthcare could be delivered and managed. So let's see. So when we talk about AI in healthcare, the real issue isn't the capability, it's the trust. So clinicians don't trust AI because it's impressive. No, they trust it when it's predictable, explainable, and accountable. That means knowing where the data comes from, understanding why the model made a recommendation, and having the ability to question or override it means explainability, because nowadays whenever we are trying to make any deep learning model or anything for prediction or classification or for recognition, it's work as a black box model, but the clinicians needs explainability. So trust is built when AI is transparent, not a black box, when it's monitored over time, and when responsibility stays with the humans, not the algorithm. So in healthcare, trust isn't optional. It's what turns AI from a tool into something clinicians will actually use. So no conversation about AI in healthcare is complete without regulation also. And the reality is regulation isn't the enemy of innovation. It's the reason when innovations can scale safely. Healthcare AI already lives inside strict rules, privacy, safety, and accountability. These rules are not going away and they shouldn't. What's changing is how regulators think about AI, and less focus on the technology itself and more focus on risk, impact, and patient harm. So that means continuous monitoring, clear the human oversights, and documented the decision making. The organization that succeed won't be the ones that move fastest. So first we like how AI fits in the clinical workflow. We all know this, that first we click the data like images or vital signs or lab results. Then AI analyzes that data and highlight the patterns or risk. And then clinicians review the AI output and make the final decision. And that decision led to action, ultimately better patient outcome. So AI support the process, but clinicians stay in control. We can't say that clinicians playing no role. They are. And this is also, we know, I have just discussed all these things. Again, I'm saying that AI will not replace doctors. It's just providing a assistant. So AI is only as good as the data it receives. Without data, there are no patterns, and without patterns, there are no insights. So that's why high quality data is the foundation of everything AI does. So we need data. How many of you, I want to ask a question. How many of you have ever had to repeat the same medical information more than once to different doctors, clinics, or apps? Many of us, right? So that experience isn't just frustrating, it's a symptom of much bigger problem. So this slide is about fragmentation problem. Today's healthcare doesn't exist as one connected system. Hospitals operated in one world, clinics in another, and digital health apps is a completely separate universe. So hospitals is not equal to clinics and clinics is not equal to apps. What that means in practice is broken data flow, duplicated tests, delayed decisions, and patients forced to act as the system integrator. So we don't have the healthcare system, we have a collection of disconnected touch points. So this is a very concerned thing. And this fragmentation is just an inconvenience. It's directly impact the outcomes, cost, and trust. So let's look at what this disconnect actually causes. So we can work on this problem. Another thing, let me ask you something about like when you send a text message, do you ever stop to think about how the other phone understand that message? You don't, because it just works. That's exact what interoperability is supposed to feel like. At its core, interoperability simply means systems talking to each other. When one system creates information, another system can receive it, understand it, and actually use it without manual workarounds. So in healthcare context, that means data can move seamlessly between hospitals, clinics, and digital apps without faxes, screenshots, or re-entering information. So no magic, no buzzwords, just the right information in the right place at the right time. And once systems can truly talk to each other, everything else, efficiency, outcomes, and patient experience starts to change. Think about the last time you clicked I agree online. Did you read it? Or did you just want to get to the next screen? That's the consent in the digital age. We have turned consent into a checkbox, fast, forgettable, and often meaningless. So in healthcare context, that's a problem because consent isn't about speed. It's about understanding and control. Today's data moves instantly across the systems, platforms, and organizations, but consent hasn't kept up. Digital consent should be clear, specific, and reversible. Patients should know what they are agreeing to, what gets access, and for how long. When consent is vague or hidden, trust erodes. And without trust, even the best technology fails. So in the digital age, consent isn't one-time event, it's an ongoing conversation. And getting that right is essential to protecting privacy while still enabling the innovation. So what's the takeaway related to data here? If there is one thing I want you to remember from all of this, it's this, that data only creates value when it can move accurately, clearly, securely with the consent. Fragmented data slows the care, disconnected system create the risk, and unclear ownership erodes the trust. So these 3 points I want to take away from you people. So when system can talk to each other, patients stay in control, and consent is transparent, data becomes an asset instead of an obstacle. So this isn't about more data, it's about better data flow. Interoperability enables it, patient's ownership protects it, and modern consent makes it sustainable. So the most important changes in healthcare are not happening 5 years from now, they are happening right now. So this slide is about emerging trends, and we are moving from isolated system to connected ecosystems. So data is becoming more portable, patients are getting more control, and interoperability is shifting from a nice to have to a baseline expectations. So APIs, real-time data exchange, and cloud-based platforms are replacing manual processes and point-to-point integrations. And at the same time, if we can see from the human angle perspective, expectations are changing. Patients expect the same simplicity and transparency from the healthcare that they get from banking or travel. So these trends are not just technical upgrades, they are redefining how trust, access, and care are delivered. And organizations that adapt early won't just keep up, they will lead. So I'm very surprised to see here in Finland that they have their own Fin data bank. So where every hospitals are connected and they are taking the consent from the patients and they have managed their own data bank, and any university or any hospital who want to access that data, they can access data for research work directly from that data bank. So this is very good thing which I have observed here, like how these foreign countries work. And there is a close collaboration between hospitals and universities. So it doesn't seem like the clinicians are only sitting in the hospital to work. They come and visit the university also. They have an office in university also. They used to sit in a university and they are learning about these AI models. Those who are expertise in data science, they are getting collaborated with that and accessing the data from those data banks. So this is a very good thing which I have experienced here. So these are certain tools which you people can use, explore to have an idea that how these tools are working. But this is a disclaimer, these tools are not for clinical diagnosis. These are just for educational and demo purposes. On your free time, you can access these tools, xraygpt.com, and I'm not suggesting to put your own data. Again, I told you that you have a right to use your data and use any demo images or videos if you want to explore it. Don't give your personal information. And xrays.ai is another tool, and cdread.com is another tool. So all these tools are for educational purposes. You can explore to see that how these give you interpretation and clear explanation about that particular modality around, regarding that particular abnormality. So you can explore this. Now, the future hospital is not a building. Up till now, we are just going to a building which is a hospital. But now it's a network. Telehealth has expanded care beyond the traditional clinical walls. Through video consultations, remote diagnostics, and home monitoring, patients can receive care where they are, especially in rural and under served areas. So let me give you one example of Practo app. So many of us are using that app in India. The Practo, where you can get the video consultation, remote consultation from the doctor regarding your symptoms. You don't need to go to the hospitals. And many hospitals are also now giving this type of facility so that you don't need to go to the hospital. On just basis of the symptoms, you can get the first aid or the initial medicines. And if that doesn't get treated properly, then you can go for further lab tests, etc. So same concept is already happening in Finland also. We don't go to the doctors. First, there is an app, the common government app is there. We just give the symptoms there. If the symptoms are like easy, they are not so much complex, they suggest the treatment online. And if it doesn't cure, then they suggest for further lab tests, etc. So how things are working now? So remote monitoring allows clinicians to track patients continuously. For example, a patient with heart failure can be monitored at home instead of reacting to emergencies. So the care team can intervene before hospitalization is needed. So this improves the outcome, reduces the cost, and improves the quality of life. How many of you have ever delayed seeing a doctor because it was simply inconvenient? As I told you, that because sometimes it's a long travel time, sometimes we can't take time off from the work, sometimes we need to sit in a long queue in a waiting rooms. For many people, healthcare has traditionally happened inside the clinical walls, but telehealth changes that. It allows care to happen beyond the clinic, in people's home, workplaces, and communities. So through video consultations, as I told, patients can connect with clinicians without traveling long distances. This is especially powerful for follow-ups and mental health care and chronic disease management. So telehealth also works hand in hand with the remote monitoring. Instead of waiting for the next appointment, clinicians can track key health indications continuously and intervene earlier when something changes. And perhaps most importantly, telehealth expands access for people living in rural areas, for older adults, and for underserved populations. So virtual care can be the difference between getting care and going without it. And the telehealth expands. The next challenge becomes ensuring quality, trust, and equity in virtual care. So we can see that devices like ECG enabled watches can detect the heart rhythm abnormalities, sometimes even before the symptoms appear. Glucose sensors allow people with diabetes and those at risk to see how food activity and stress affect the blood sugar in real time. Wearables also track sleep and stresses, now recognized as core indicator of long-term health, not lifestyle extras. But the biggest change isn't the device themselves, it's clinical. Healthcare is shifting from away from snapshots, single measurements taken during clinical visits, and toward continuous data collected during everyday life. So this lets us move beyond the population averages, right? So wearables have incredibly potential, but they also introduce a new challenge we don't talk about enough, and that challenge is too much data. Imagine wearing a smartwatch that tracks your heart rate, sleep activity, oxygen levels all day, every day. And now imagine getting alerts constantly. Your heart rate is high, your sleep was poor, something looks abnormal. So at first this feels empowering, but very quickly it can lead to alert fatigue. When everything is flagged as important, people and clinicians may start ignoring alerts together. So another issue is false positive. Variables are sensitive by design. So, but sensitivity without context can cause unnecessary anxiety, extra tests, and even avoidable hospital visits. So, this raises a critical question: who is actually responsible for monitoring all this data? Is it the patient, or the clinician, or the hospital system, or an algorithm? And if an alert is missed or a signal is misunderstood, who is legally responsible? So these liability questions are still evolving, and regulation is struggling to keep up with the pace of innovation. So while wearables can absolutely improve early detection and chronic disease management, they must be designed and integrated thoughtfully. The goal is not more data, it is a meaningful data delivered to the right person at the right time. So wearables should reduce burden, not create new ones. In healthcare, information only helps if it leads to clear, timely actions. Right. So robotics, we all know that robotics are not here to replace surgeons. Instead, they give surgeons something almost like superhuman precision. So imagine performing surgery where your hands never tremble, where movements can be scaled down to millimeters, and where fatigue doesn't affect the accuracy. So that's what robotic assisted surgery enables. Through smaller incisions and highly controlled movements, patients experience less pain, lower risk of complications, and faster recovery time. So, in many cases, patients go home sooner and sometimes the same day instead of spending days in the hospital, right? So, this is what we have in robotics and in precision medicine. So, why do two patients with the same diagnosis respond very differently to the same treatment? Think about this for a moment. One patient improves quickly, and another patient experiences side effects or no benefit at all. This isn't the bad medicine, it's biology. Every one of us is genetically unique, and for decades, healthcare has relied on trial and error, trying one treatment, then another, hoping something works. And this is where precision medicine changes the story. Instead of asking what works for most people, we now ask what is most likely to work for this person. Through genomic profiling, we can understand how patient genes influence, how they metabolize the drugs, how a disease behaves, and which treatment are most effective. This enables targeted therapies. Treatments designed for specific genetic profiles, not averages. The result is fewer side effects, faster responses, and significantly less trial error treatments. So, in simpler terms, care becomes personal, predictive, and precise, tailored to your biology, not just your diagnosis. So, this is not a science fiction, it's already changing cancer treatment, rare disease care, and pharmacology today, and it represents a fundamental shift from one size fits all medicine to care designed for you. If we already personalize our phones, our news, and our music, shouldn't healthcare be personalized too? Let me take this very real example from cancer care. Two patients are diagnosed with the breast cancer, same diagnosis, same stage. 10 years ago, both patients would likely receive the same chemotherapy. Today, we do something very different. We test the tumor for a gene called HER2. If the tumor is HER2 positive, we know it grows aggressively, but we know it responds extremely well to a targeted therapy like trastuzumab. That one genetic insight completely changes the treatment plan. So instead of broad chemotherapy with significant side effects, the patient receives a therapy designed specifically for that tumor biology. So the result is better survival with fewer side effects and more confidence that the treatment will work. And this isn't limited to cancer. In pharmacogenomics, we now test how a person's genes affect how they process the medications. For example, some people metabolize common drugs like antidepressants or pain medications too fast or too slow. Without genetic insights, a doctor might need several attempts to find the right dose. With genomic profiling, we can often get it right the first time. This is what customized care truly means. Not guessing, no trial and error, but using biology to guide smarter decisions. Precision medicine doesn't just treat diseases, it respects the individual differences. The future of medicine isn't about better drug. It's about giving the right drug to the right person at the right time. So digital tools supplement traditional therapies and improves treatment adherence. Digital therapeutics are app-based interventions validated by clinical evidence to manage or prevent diseases. Another important emerging trend in healthcare is blockchain. So have you ever wondered who can see your medical records and who decides that? Today, health data is often stored in multiple systems. Hospitals, clinics, labs, insurance providers, all holding pieces of the same patient record. And once data enters the system, patients often lose visibility and control. So this is where blockchain offers a useful way to think differently. The easiest analogy is this, that blockchain is like a Google Docs for health records. Everyone with permission can see the updates in the real time. There are no silent edits and every change leaves a clear trace. Most importantly, The patient controls the access when data is shared and it's recorded transparently and securely. So this creates secure, interoperable records that can move with the patient across system. It also enables your transparent audit trials. And we add consent management, I have already discussed with you that it's about the trust. With blockchain-based systems, patients can grant, limit, or revoke the access to the data dynamically. Another trend is your digital twins. So what if doctor could test a treatment on you without touching you at all? That is the idea behind the digital twins in healthcare. A digital twin is a virtual model of a patient. It's a virtual model of a patient built using medical images, clinical data, genetics, and real-time sensor data. Think of it as a dynamic living simulation that mirrors how a patient body behaves. Instead of applying a treatment and waiting to see what happens, clinicians can simulate treatments first. They can ask questions like, what happens if we change this drug? What if we adjust the dose? What if we choose a different therapy altogether? So this approach is already being explored in cardiology. In digital health models, what they are doing in digital health models, they simulate the blood flow and help doctors to plan procedures more precisely. It's also used in oncology research, where virtual tumor models helps researchers understand how cancers might respond to different therapies. The goal isn't to replace these clinical judgment. The goal is to reduce the uncertainty and make decisions safer and more personalized. So digital twins represent a future where medicines becomes not just personalized but predictive. We are not doing here trial and error. So in the future, we may not ask what actually usually works, but rather what will work best for this patient. So how many of you have ever forgotten to take medication or wondered later if you already took it? Many of us. So this is where health apps quietly make a real difference. I want you to picture a patient, could be the name any, like let's say Maria. She is managing high blood pressure and takes 2 medications a day. Before using a health app, Maria misses her doses, not because she didn't care, but because lifestyle is so busy. Now her phone gently reminds her, not with alarms, but with simple nudge, that it's time for your morning medication. You are on a 7 day streak. That small feedback loop changes the behavior. Health apps help patients see their habits, not just hear instructions once in a clinic. They track sleep, activity, diet, and medication adherences and turn invisible behavior into visible patterns. So, over time, this shift healthcare from do this because your doctor said so to I can see how my choices affect my health. Right? So, app don't change the behavior by information alone, they change behavior through timing, personalization, and reinforcement. So behavior change doesn't happen in the clinic, it happens in daily life. So these health apps bring care into those everyday moments. Another emerging trend is our 3D printing and bioprinting. So when we think about the healthcare manufacturing, we usually imagine factories, long supply chains, and standard sizes. So, but patients are not standard. Um, Let me tell you a quick story here. A few years ago, a young patient needed a facial implant after a traumatic injury. Traditionally, surgeons would choose the closest size available and adapt during surgery. Today, that process looks very different. Doctors take a CT scan and convert into a digital model and a 3D print an implant designed specifically for that patient anatomy. It fits better, surgery is shorter, recovery is faster. So that is the power of customization. In healthcare, 3D printing is already being used to create prosthetic tailored to individual patients. Anatomical model surgeons can hold and practice on before an operation, and even scaffolds for tissue engineering research. Surgeons can now rehearse a complex procedure on a printed replica of patient organ before ever touching the patient. And when we move from 3D printing to bioprinting, we take an even bigger step. Instead of a plastic or metal, researchers are printing structures using living cells. We are not printing full organs yet, but we are learning how tissues behave, heal, and respond to the treatment. This shifts the healthcare from one size fits all to built specifically for you. So, if a medical device can be customized to your body, would you trust it more than a standard one? Most obviously, yes. And that's why personalization is becoming a core principle of modern principle medicine. Sorry. So, when we talk about the healthcare, we usually focus on saving lives, and rightly so. But here's a question we don't ask often enough: what impact does healthcare itself have on the planet? Hospital runs 24 by 7. They use enormous amount of energy, water, paper and supplies. In fact, healthcare systems are among the largest carbon emitters in many countries. So the same technologies we have been talking about today and are not just improving the patient care, they are also helping us to build a greener healthcare system. Let me give you a simple example. A patient who used to travel to the hospital every 2 weeks for a routine checkup can now be monitored remotely from home. Fewer trips, less fuel burned, less congestion, lower emission. So multiply that by thousands of patients and suddenly healthcare looks very different. So medical devices themselves are changing too. Newer technologies are designed to be more energy efficient, longer lasting, and smarter about when and how they are used. And then there is a paperwork. For decades, healthcare ran on a mountains of paper, forms, charts, files, folders. So today digital records replaces entire filing rooms with secure searchable data. And obviously fewer trees are cutting down, less physical storage, faster access to information. So sustainability in healthcare isn't about choosing the environment over patients. It's about realizing they are connected. A healthier planet supports healthier people, right? So digital healthcare helps fix that for patients, providers, and the planet. So greener healthcare isn't a future goal. It's already happening, and one smart decision at a time. Okay. So when we are talking about the healthcare technology, the focus is usually on the patients. But there is another group we need to talk about, the people who are delivering the care. Let me start with the question. How many hours do you think doctors and nurses spend each day not caring for the patients? In many systems, clinicians spend more time clicking, typing, and documenting and talking to the person in front of them. So that is one of the biggest drivers of burnout. This is where technology, when designed well, makes a real difference. AI tools can summarize clinical notes. Voice recognition can capture documentation in real time. Decision support systems can flag risk early. So key point is here that technology doesn't replace the clinical judgment, it supports it. Doctors still make the decisions, nurses still provide the care, technology just removes the friction, and something interesting happens when the burden is reduced. Clinicians get time back, time to listen, time to explain, time to connect, and at the same time, healthcare roles are evolving. So we are seeing new positions emerge like clinical informatics specialist, digital care coordinators, AI oversight and ethical roles. This isn't job loss, it's job transformations. And when technology works with clinicians instead of against them, job satisfaction improves, burnout decreases, retention improves, patient outcomes improve. In the end, the goal isn't high tech healthcare, it's human healthcare supported by smart tools. Right? So this is what I would like to highlight. So I have discussed all this thing already, that when we are talking with, when we are working with the technologies, we are reducing the burnout crisis, right? So empathy becomes harder, some in emotional exhaustion, When empathy becomes harder, some leave the profession entirely, and burnt out isn't a professional failure, it's a system problem. And then that means it needs a system solution. So the burnout crisis isn't about working harder, it's about working smarter and building system that supports the people who supports all of us. After talking about burnout, this is where technology can actually help, not by replacing the clinicians, but by removing the work that pulls them away from the patient. Think about documentation. Imagine finishing a patient visit and the note are already drafted, accurate, structured, ready to review. Not hours later, not at midnight. Scheduling is another quite burden. Automation can handle appointment reminders, rescheduling, and follow ups. So, all these things we can do, right? So, who here would love to spend less time on paperwork and more time with the people? And when automation works quietly in the background, it creates space for something even more important. So, automation, we need automation everywhere to help our workforce also. So, here, what important thing is that we can say that when we say new skills, we don't mean that clinicians become programmers. Digital literacy simply means feeling comfortable using modern tools, the same way we once learned electronic records. AI awareness means understanding what AI can do, what it can't do, and when to question it. The goal isn't to replace clinical judgment, it's to strengthen it. So, the most powerful future clinician isn't the one who knows the most code, it's the one who knows when to trust the technology and when to rely on human experience, right? So, this is what I want to say, that when clinicians grow with the technology, the entire healthcare system grows stronger. So, this is again the crux is that here we are not talking about that how we are entering the data to make decisions. It's again that how we are utilizing the technology. So when the roles shifting this way, care becomes both smarter and more human with the help of technology, rather than everything is doing alone by the humans. So the core takeaway for this is that healthcare technology shouldn't only focus on patients, it should also care for the people who delivering that care. When tools reduce the friction instead of adding it, clinicians regain time, energy, and purpose. If technology doesn't make work more human, it isn't doing its job. The future of healthcare depends on healthy caregivers. So when we talk about innovations, it's easy to think about machines and softwares. But for patients, innovation feels like getting care sooner, closer to home, and with fewer barriers. So innovation doesn't replace the human care, it gives clinicians more time to be human. That's what these trends are really delivering. So next is very important about ethics. So innovation only works if people trust it. That means protecting data, addressing AI ethics, and making sure progress doesn't leave anyone behind. Every piece of health data represents a real person. A diagnosis, a genetic test, a private movement. When data is protected, patient feels safe, engaging with care. When it isn't, the trust is broken and care suffers. So strong data security isn't about technology, it's about respect. So regulations like HIPAA and GDPR exist to protect patient dignity, privacy and trust in Europe, not just data files. As healthcare becomes more digital, trust becomes more most valuable asset. Innovations in healthcare doesn't happen in a vacuum. It happens inside rules designed to protect patients. So as I told you that here in Europe, we have lot of regulations like HIPAA in the US, GDPR in Europe. It exists to ensure that sensitive health data is handled responsibility securely and transparently. So the challenge is balance, to maintain balance, moving fast enough to save lives, but carefully enough to protect them. So good policy doesn't slow innovation, it makes innovation safe to scale. So this is all about like with innovation when come the responsibility. Without trust, I told you many times, the technology fails. So we must address the data privacy, security, algorithm bias, and equitable access. The biggest risk in healthcare innovation is not moving too fast, it's moving blindly. So who owns the patient data? Who is responsible if AI is wrong? Can AI worsen the healthcare inequality? So we need to find the solution of all these questions. So these technologies are on the horizon and may change the next decade of care. Looking ahead, we will see the powerful innovations on the horizon, augmented and virtual reality for therapy and training, nanotechnology for targeted drug delivery, digital twins, we have already discussed, quantum computing for genomics, and future of healthcare isn't just high-end, it must be high touch. So this is AR VR for mental health and rehab. Imagine treating anxiety without leaving a safe room. With augmented reality and virtual reality, patients can gradually face fears, practice calming techniques, or relearn physical movements, all in a controlled virtual environment. For someone with PTSD, VR can recreate scenarios at a pace they control. So, we are talking today for metaverse. So, all these things are happening right now. For a stroke patient, rehab becomes an interactive experience instead of repetitive exercises. The result isn't just better therapy, it's a higher engagement, greater confidence, and faster recovery. So, augmented reality and virtual reality don't replace the clinicians, they give patients a safer way to practice healing. And again, in AR, VR, when we are using augmented reality and virtual reality, we are providing a metaverse space where these practitioners who are learning this medical practice, they learn how to do a basic surgery on that metaverse platform because it's a virtual environment we are providing for medical education also. So think of traditional medicine like watering an entire field even when only one plant is sick. So nanomedicine changes that by engineering particles thousands of times smaller than a human hair, we can deliver drugs directly to the diseased cell, sparing healthy tissues. In cancer care, this means stronger treatment with fewer side effects. In chronic diseases, it means earlier detection and more personalized therapy. The promise of nanomedicine is simple but powerful. Treat the right place at the right time in the right dose. So, nanomedicine delivers treatment directly to the disease cells, improving precision while reducing the side effect, especially in cancer and chronic disease care. The human genomics contain over 3 billion data points, far more than traditional computers were designed to handle efficiently. So, quantum computing changes the rules. Instead of checking genetic possibilities one at a time, quantum systems evaluate millions simultaneously, revealing patterns we would otherwise miss. So, in healthcare, this means faster drug discovery, more accurate risk predictions, and treatments tailored to an individual DNA. Quantum genomics isn't about replacing doctors, it's about giving them superhuman insight at the molecular level. So, quantum genomics uses quantum computing to analyze massive genetic data sets, accelerating drug discovery, and enabling truly personalized medicines. So we have talked about powerful technologies, but technologies alone doesn't change healthcare. People do. So clinicians don't need to become data scientists, just informed users who know when to trust, question, and guide the AI. Policymakers have a critical role, protect the patients while allowing innovations to move fast enough to save lives. Patients deserve transparency. Understanding how technology affects their care builds trust and better outcomes. And researchers and students are shaping what comes next with the responsibility to design tools that are ethical, secure, and human centered. So, the future of healthcare isn't just digital, it's collaborative. The next step is shared responsibility. Clinicians learning AI basics, policymakers enabling safe innovations, patients staying informed, and researchers building the technology which we can trust. So let me bring this back to the patient. Imagine two people with the same condition. One lives in a city with specialists nearby, and the other lives hours away, works two jobs, and has a limited internet. So, technology has the power to close that gap. Telehealth, remote monitoring, digital reminders, but only if we design it with the equity in mind. Patient experience isn't just about convenience, it's about being understood in the right language, on the right device, at the right moment. So, if technology ignores access, literacy, or culture, it doesn't innovate, it excludes. The goal is simple but powerful. Better care for everyone, not just those with the best connectivity, right? So we face this challenge in India because everyone isn't having that right internet connectivity or a smartphone. So how we should proceed? We need to think about it. For a long time, healthcare treated patients are passive recipients. Something done to them, not done with them. That's changing. Today, patient is informed. They can access their records, understand their condition, and ask better questions. They are engaged, tracking symptoms, following progress, and participating in decisions. Now we are doing this. And ultimately, they are empowered, not replacing clinicians, but partnering with them. So when patient understand why our treatment matters, outcomes improve, adherence improves, and trust grows. The future of healthcare isn't clinicians versus technology, it's clinicians and patients working together with better tools. So, modern healthcare works best when patients are informed, engaged, and empowered partners, not passive participants. So, technology has incredible potential in healthcare, but not everyone gets to benefit from it equally. As I told you, that for some patients, telehealth is convenient, but for others, it's simply not an option. Why? Because of limited internet broadband, lack of devices, because of language barriers, because we are making apps in only English language. Why can't we build them in local language? Or low digital literacy can turn innovations into exclusion. So if we design healthcare assuming everyone has the same access, we risk widening the very gaps we are trying to close. Equity isn't about slowing innovation, it's about making sure innovation actually reaches the people who need it most. So inclusion doesn't start with the technology, it starts with people. If a patient needs training to use a healthcare tool, we have already lost them. Simple design means fewer steps, clear language, and support when something goes wrong. Accessible design means working for people with disabilities, older adults, and those using low end devices or slow connections. So, multilingual design isn't a nice to have, it's how trust, safety, and understanding are built. So, when we design for the margins, we improve the experience for everyone. A telehealth app that works offline, uses plain language, and supports multiple languages can mean the difference between the missed care and the timely treatment. So this is the major issue in our rural areas also. Without trust, even the best technology will fail, as I have already discussed it. In healthcare, adoption doesn't start with the feature, it starts with the trust. So if patients don't trust the system, they won't use it. If they don't use it, there is no impact, right? So trust is built when tools are transparent, reliable, and clearly working in the patient's best interest. It's built when patients understand what the technology does and what it doesn't do. And it's lost instantly when privacy bias and safety is unclear. So trust turns technology into care. Without it, innovation stalls. So we have seen AI tools with strong accuracy fail in practice simply because clinicians and patients didn't trust the outputs. So patient-centered innovation doesn't start in the lab or boardroom. It starts with listening. So for years, healthcare technology was designed for patients, but rarely with them. And the result, tools that technically work but don't feel real lives. When we design with patients, we learn things data alone can't tell us, like fear, confusion, cultural context, daily constraints. So, a reminder appointment that sounds helpful to one person can feel overwhelming to another. True innovation happens when patients are partners, shaping how technology looks, speaks, and behaves. Because when patients recognize themselves in the solution, adoption follows naturally. So, patient centered innovation means designing with patients, not guessing what they need. So, if there is one thing patients should take away from all of this, it's this: technology is not the goal. People are, technology is not the goal, but the goal is people. So, when technology works well, patients feels informed, not confused. They feel supported, not stressed. They feel confident, not left behind. So, innovations that overwhelms create distance. Innovations that empowers builds trust. And the right technology fits into the patient life quietly, respectfully, and the moment it's actually needed. So, when patient feels empowered, they engage more, they ask better questions, and they become active partners in their care. So, good healthcare technology shouldn't make patients feel stronger and smaller. When we design with empathy, equity, and trust at the center, innovation stops being intimidating and starts being transformational. So, we need to keep all these points whenever we are trying to design any new tool. So, when we talk about healthcare 10 years from now, we are not talking about science fiction, we are talking about better decisions earlier. So predictive means we don't wait for people to get sick. Subtle changes in data helps clinicians intervene before a crisis happens. And personalized means care that recognizes each patient as unique. Their biology, their environment, their preference, their life. And connected means that the system finally works as one. Data flows securely, teams communicate, and patients don't have to repeat their story at every visit. So, in this future, technology doesn't replace the clinicians, it gives them time back, and it doesn't control patients, it gives them clarity. The promise of the next decade isn't just smarter healthcare, it's more human healthcare, and in 10 years, healthcare will be predictive instead of reactive, personalized instead of one size fit all, and connected so patients are supported, not lost in the system. So the future isn't about how advanced our technology becomes, it's about how well it serves the people. So, as healthcare becomes more digital and intelligent, so trust is the foundation. And I have discussed about again and again, we have ethical guides with choices which we make when technology can move faster than policy. Human-centered designs reminds us who this is for, not dashboards, not algorithms. People often at their most vulnerable moments. So, if we get these rights, innovation accelerates, and if we get them wrong, adoptions stop. So, the role of each stakeholder is what? So, transforming healthcare is not a solo effect, it's a team sport, and every role matters. Clinicians bring context and judgment, they translate data into decisions, and they decide when to trust technology and when not to. Whereas patients are no longer passive recipients of care, they are informed and engaged partners who lived experiences should shape every solution we build. Policymakers create the guardrails. Their role isn't to slow innovation, but to make sure it happens safely, fairly, and responsibly. And innovators turn possibilities into tools. But the most successful innovation don't start with the code. They start by listening. When these four move together, healthcare move forward, and healthcare innovations works only when clinicians, patients, policymakers, and innovators move together, each playing their part. So healthcare is at a crossroads. We can continue reacting to diseases, or we can predict, prevent, and personalize cares. So medtech give us the tools. The future depends on how responsibly we use them. So the question is no longer if healthcare will change, but whether we are ready to lead that change. The future of healthcare is not about machines. It's about using technology wisely to care better for people. So which of these technologies do you believe will save the most lives in the next decades, and why? That's all. Thank you.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
This,
Thank you
I
so
end my
much for a great session. I myself, I am not from healthcare and medtech background, but I was so much inspired. You have discussed so many important things that a layman can understand. Your language was very fine, and you discussed so many things that we all should know at this point of time, and the healthcare and medtech, which is going to be in next 10 years. So thank you so much, Dr. Koundal. Please stay with us. Till then, any participants, do you have any questions or queries? Then you can share with Dr. Koundal. She's here from the University of Finland. Participants having any queries or questions? So I think, ma'am, your lecture was so precise and so learning that I think they have learned so well that they don't have any questions. So thank you so much for joining, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
Okay, ma'am. Pleasure. So, dear participants, we shall move to our next session of the day. Our next guest speaker has already joined with us. Dr. Angadbir Singh ji Sabherwal. So, may I introduce you to our second speaker of the day, Angadbir Singh ji Sabherwal. He is a senior manufacturing engineer at GT Medical Technologies, Washington, USA. Mr. Angadbir is an accomplished engineer and innovator with extensive experience across diverse industries, including robotics, healthcare, and food technology and construction materials. Currently at GT Medical Technologies, he contributes to cutting-edge innovations aimed at preventing brain tumors, combining advanced manufacturing with impactful healthcare solutions. Previously, Mr. Angadbir worked with Novark Technologies in Canada, where he played a pivotal role in developing the world's first welding robot. Under his leadership, the company achieved a remarkable 50% increase in revenue and successfully tripled the size of the engineering team within 2 years. He has also worked with Nexi, helping scale prototypes to full-fledged manufacturing, and with Saint-Gobain, contributing to advancements in electrochromic glass and drywall technologies. Beyond engineering, he has actively supported India's millet revolution as a seed investor in Jhumru, a growing millet-based restaurant chain. Mr. Angabid holds a bachelor's degree in mechanical engineering from Iowa State University and a master's degree in human-computer interaction from the University of Waterloo. With deep passion for robotics, sustainable solutions, and food innovation, he continues to pursue impactful projects across sectors. In his personal time, he enjoys traveling, rock climbing, and cooking. So we are honored to have Mr. Angadbir Singh Sabherwal with us today, and we look forward to his insightful session. So I invite you, sir, here for your session. Thank you.
Morning, everyone, or evening. I am just loading my computer here, so just give me 2 minutes.
It's evening, sir, in India. We wish good morning to you as you're in USA right now.
How's everybody's day going?
Dear participants, please wait till Mr. Angadbir joins us. As he's in USA right now, it's 5 o'clock in the morning. So he's joining quickly. So please wait there. Thank
Yes,
you.
madam.
Good evening, everyone. We are at time 6:29. Let me just switch to my computer here in 30 seconds and we'll be starting.
Okay, sir.
Can everyone hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Am I audible? Am I? Let's see if my video is here too. Everyone see me?
Yeah, we can see you.
Perfect. Okay. Hello, everyone. Let's do this. Good evening, good morning, good afternoon, whichever part of the world you are. So let's recall. We
Welcome,
are going to
sir.
be talking
Welcome.
about medtech today. So I'm going to start here. Thank you for the warm introduction, Dr. Prabkiran. I appreciate that.
Thank you, sir. It's my pleasure.
And let me just pull this up real quick. Okay. How's everybody's day going so far?
Nice, sir.
You have a nice lecture. I think the previous speaker was talking about the healthcare
Internet of
futures
Things. Yeah,
from
yeah.
Finland. That was
Very
amazing.
Yeah.
Dr. Prabkiran, can I get screen sharing? You might have to make me co-host.
Yeah, I have already given you, sir. I have already given. I have already made you co-host. Okay. So now please check, sir.
Just increase my volume here. Okay, perfect. Thank you so much for that. I have screen sharing now. I appreciate that. Working through some technical challenges here. Get to it. Okay, is everybody able to see my screen and hear my voice and see my video?
Sir, we can hear your voice, but your video is not showing.
Why everybody see my screen?
Yeah, it's visible now. It's visible. Yes, sir.
Visible, sir. Visible.
Dr. Prabkiran, Dr. Vipul, are you able to see my screen?
Yes, sir, definitely. Yes.
Yes, sir.
Clear.
Yes.
I cannot get audio. Let me just do this. Okay. Can someone say something? I just want to make sure I can hear you guys. I intend to
Yes,
join
sir.
through my phone. Okay. Am I audible to everybody?
Yes, sir.
Recording in progress.
Am I audible to everybody?
Yes, sir.
Okay, am I audible to everyone now?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Perfect. I think I had to figure it out through my phone as well. Okay. Am I visible? So is my audio good? Is my video good? And is my presentation online? Can everybody see my screen?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Perfect. Now I can hear you as well. So we got through the audio challenges. Sorry, everybody. We will work through this. So thank
No
you for the
problem,
warm
sir.
introduction. And I'm so glad to be here. I will try to succeed in my attempt to tell you a little bit about medical technology and brachytherapy today. and hopefully you'll gain a lot from this session. I definitely want to take a few minutes to understand what all the students have their background in, as well as the other speakers and professional that we have joined here. So we'll just take a minute to understand basically where you're coming from in terms of understanding of medical devices and cancer. So our agenda for today is to understand my audience. First of all, we'll take a few minutes there. Thank you for the introduction. So you know a little bit about me already. Then we move into understanding med tech, specifically brachytherapy, which is basically a cancer treatment option. And then we'll go through another basically therapy type where I work specifically, which is gamma-tau. And then we'll go for some questions from the audience in the end. So for the first part, to get to know the audience, I actually need everybody to either scan this QR code, and I will also link this specific link in the chat so everybody can take it from there. Just give me 1 second. I'll wait for it to load. So if you're able to scan the QR code, you can do that. And if not, I will be just dropping the link here in the chat. So the link should be in the chat. If you're unable to drop the, if you're unable to scan as a QR code, this link should work. Let me just get this right. Share, copy. So once you're online on menti.com, which is just where the QR code will take you, or you are online on this link, just join using the code that you see, which is 28262733. I will also include that here. Two 28262733. That's the code for Menti. So let me know if some people are able to get on, at least. That'll indicate if everybody is following through. Can I get a thumbs up from some people saying they got in? Okay, I see some people are able to get in. Perfect. Well, we will move to that window. I will share my screen again. The code is 28262733. It's also in the chat box. Sorry, I have multiple screens, so I have to look into 3 different ways. Let me know if that screen is visible.
Ayo, kita sesarwa kain.
Are you able to join in? I see 32 people are online. Okay, perfect. So the first thing that it's going to require you to ask is, what's your favorite place that you've ever been to or travel destination? So just to get to know our audience a little bit. Okay, I've got a few responses that you can tell from our students and professionals and professors. US, Canada, Kashmir. Let's see, we got a few responses here from 34 people. South India, Kulu Manali. It's a great spot. Myanmar, Paris. Wow, yeah, we got quite a lot of global audiences here. That's amazing. So it's great to hear that everybody's, coming from a different background. Everybody's traveled. Everybody's very much active and able to explore the world. This is great news. I'm glad that I'm with students from all over and everywhere. Chandigarh is my hometown, so it's nice to see that over there. We'll move on to the next question here. So just to get to know you guys a little bit better, all the students and all the professors and professionals, I just want to understand what you know about medtech or brachytherapy or cancer. So if you, in one word, if you could identify what cancer treatment do you think of? Like when you think of cancer treatment, what's the one word you think of? So go ahead and respond. You just type it in, just like the last question. So in one word, which cancer treatment? So we got radiation therapy. Okay, that's the most common one. Chemotherapy, that's literally the most common one. What else? Alternate medicine, we got some people saying, nice. Okay, mostly chemo, radiation. Yep, that's correct. That's what comes to mind when you think about, cancer research and cancer treatment. Okay. Okay. Monoclonal, okay. Antibodies, yep. Alternate immunotherapy, fasting, yep. It's a decent one. Melanoma, mental peace. Okay. We got quite a few responses there. I'll move on to the next slide. Sounds like our audience is pretty aware. So most commonly, as everybody knows, it's radiation therapy and chemotherapy that people think about. What do you think are the biggest challenges in cancer treatment today? So just want to engage the audience again with this question here. So go ahead and respond. So again, you can type in your response to this question. We'll just take 30 seconds here. So you can see some of the responses we're getting on the screen there, and their money, their side effects of chemotherapy, early detection, relapse. That's a very big one. Cancer tends to relapse quite a bit. Then you have prolonged treatment. So that's time away from family for a lot of the patients, right? When they have cancer, they're actually unable to come back to their normal life in the hospital. Medication, chemotherapy. Okay, so some of you responded with the recurrence and relapse of cancer. I think that's one of the biggest ones. Apart from the relapse and recurrence of cancer, the other effects of just the family and the financial and the money side, those are all things that are hard, and somebody's mentioned here emotional preparedness. That's definitely one of them for sure. Diagnosis and early diagnosis is key. Okay, we'll move on to the next thing here. So we're going to be talking about medtech and brachytherapy, brachytherapy, however you want to say it. Those are the different ways to pronounce that word. So I want to understand, in terms of our audience, our professionals, our professors and students, before this lecture, how familiar is everybody with brachytherapy or brachytherapy? Okay, we got a few people saying not familiar, heard of it, but don't know details. Okay. I want to see and gauge if anybody has heard of brachy or brachytherapy before. Okay, so it sounds like one person is somewhat familiar. So we have a pretty engaging audience, but not as much familiar with brachytherapy. So I will try my best to give everybody here on the call a little bit of an understanding of what is brachytherapy, what originates it, and how it kind of came about, and where are we at in today's world, and what are the innovative technologies that I am personally working on when it comes to brain cancer and cancer research. Perfect. Okay, so one last question here. When you think of brachytherapy and brachytherapy, we're going to be talking about it. What's the one thing that you can think that would be beneficial or maybe a concern? So obviously, maybe not aware as much about brachytherapy right now, but what would be one benefit or concern that comes to you when it comes to cancer treatment for that specific therapy? Okay, not aware. Sounds considerably aware. Like I totally get it because brachytherapy is not as common, so we understand. Less side effects of radiation. Yeah, that's definitely one of them. Early detection. That's also another one. Perfect. Okay. So I guess everybody's kind of like trying to understand what is this brachytherapy and brachytherapy. So we'll move right into our presentation here. I will go and share my screen back. Perfect. So hope everybody enjoyed that small little engaging game just to get to know the audience a little bit and also understand how much everybody knows about the brachytherapy side. So we'll move on to the next slide here. So just a little bit about me and my background's mostly robotics and construction materials. I recently moved into the medical technologies. I'm a senior engineer. And in between, I also was there at home just to help my parents out a little bit. I'm going to just jump right into brachytherapy and brachytherapy. So hopefully everybody's excited about learning about cancer treatment and this as a alternative modality and alternative treatment. So a lot of people on the intro call, they were talking about here as basically being familiar with radiotherapy or chemotherapy. So that is the most common cancer treatment. That is the standard of care. And when I say that word, it truly is. It truly is the standard of care in the world when it comes to cancer treatments. But it's not the only treatment. And I think that that's what we need to understand. Like, it truly is not the only treatment. And when you think about cancer, like the impact of cancer, the impact that it does to patients and their families, it's profound. I mean, I'm pretty sure everybody in the audience has had some family member go through cancer or somebody they know of who has been affected by cancer in the past. So it's one of the most common diseases in the world. It's one of the most prevalent ones, and it's one of the ones that we will see more, especially in my generation. The millennials or Gen Zs, Gen Ys now coming through because we have a lot of interaction with like plastics and microplastics and all of these other things that are causing it. So more so, we need to understand how to treat it because it's so widespread around us. And I think that's where the key is. When we talk about radiotherapy or chemotherapy, I just need everybody to remember this. It's external. So मेरा क्या मतलब है उससे कि it is basically outside. So if you think about this image right here, you can kind of see that somebody is taking external radiation, right? So when you think about that, it's basically external beams or electrons or some kind of excited particles coming your way. And those high energy particles are actually killing your cells. They're targeted, but they're actually killing other cells too, which is why external therapy is good, but it has a lot of side effects, as some of you had written in that small little game we played. And so I want to help you think about how external therapy or how external radiation differs from an internal source or a targeted therapy, which is essentially brachy or brachytherapy, however you want to pronounce that word. Some people prefer brachy, some people prefer brachy. These are the different types of cancers that are treated with brachytherapy. So there's pretty much all kinds of cancers, prostate, breast, eye, skin, head, neck, lungs. There's all kinds of cancer. As you can tell from the Cleveland Clinic, they've posted, all the different types of cancers that you can treat with brachytherapy. So just to get the audience in a little bit of a familiar what is actually brachytherapy and just for them to understand brachytherapy 101, we'll just do a quick video here. So let me know if this is audible. Might not be, but we can just kind of run through quickly. It's just a 1-minute quick video. We'll wait for it to load. So basically here you have the doctor trying to explain to the patient like what brachytherapy is and what different options patients have. Normally you have a 3 different kind of role. You have the surgeon, you have the oncologist, and you have the neurologist. These 3 people come together, and that's how you're able to decide what are the best treatment options. So right now in today's world, people look at different things like chemotherapy, brachytherapy, and when the doctor decides what's the best approach, then let's say if they suggest brachytherapy, they would be looking at these different types of cancer. So you have the prostate, you have the skin, your lungs, and then they would go through the MRI and CT scans, the different scans to understand in terms of imaging where that particular tumor exists or that malignant or benign, whichever way that was, that they have a foreign cell that is able to kill. And then they will implant some sort of targeted radiation inside their body. It's usually in the form of small radioactive seeds. So you'll see that maybe in the video or later on as I explain what brachytherapy is. But essentially, it's radioactive seeds implanted directly in your body. So think about it, it's inside, under aapke. So what that does is it's targeted therapy, right? So the internal radiation part of it is what's different from external radiation or chemotherapy as we most commonly talk about. So move on to the next slide here. And let's see. So here you can see it better. So this is the size of a seed right here. So it's pretty much just about 4.5 millimeters, as you can tell here. It literally is a capsule. We normally deal with it when it comes to picking it up and handling and maneuvering of the seed. We actually do it through tweezers. So it's very, very small. So I want you to picture it in your hand. It would look something like this. And when you think about the size of them relative to a coin, or in this case it's a penny, you can see that it's very, very small. I mean, you could have a lot of them in your hand, you won't be able to see it. That's how potent it is. But that's the benefit, the size, or as we call nanotechnology in today's world. What brachytherapy does is that size, you can actually deliver targeted therapy. So, let's say if you had stomach cancer, you could easily implant these in your stomach, and it would directly kill cancer inside your body at that specific organ, let's say in this case, the stomach. So I want you to understand the science and the background behind it so I can show you the innovative side of it that we have going on, that I'm working on in today's age. And hopefully the future as well, we can advance it more. So to understand the background, essentially the whole world of radiotherapy, or even if you want to call it just radiation, or actually even if you go back in terms of just the fundamentals of the physics and the chemistry behind it. It was Marie Curie. So many of you probably know and are aware that we measure radiation in curies, which basically comes from the fact that Marie Curie, the French physicist and chemist, so she was able to find it along with her comrades. She was able to develop and she developed and she found and she invented a few chemicals that are radioactive, and she got the Nobel Prize for it back in the early 1900s, and she was the first female in the world to win the Nobel Prize. So that's kind of where it started from. And the first clinical use was about 10 years later after Marie Curie founded it. We saw it come through radium, which was one of the materials that she invented. Essentially, she found that particular material. And so if you look at it, the first sort of brachytherapy cases came along about literally a century, about 100 years ago. And I want you to know that because, 100 years ago, this particular therapy had been started. So it's very common still. It is extremely old. It's about 100-year-old therapy. But normally we don't hear about it because we hear about mostly external radiation or chemotherapy. Every time you think of cancer, you think of chemo. So I want you to be aware of that. Like, this is definitely an old and archaic and very well-known therapy, but it's just not as common or aware in terms of the consumer. And there's a lot of reasons for that because the standard of care is chemotherapy. And hopefully by the end of this presentation today, you can see how it's used in different cases and what the future of targeted drug delivery or targeted medtech, medical devices is, especially like one of the ones that I am currently working on. So the impact that we want to do with brachytherapy is essentially we want to create, a precise treatment and improve the patient outcomes, and that's essentially to the core of my heart. That's what I work on personally as well, and so I hope that you can see, where we're going in the world and what the advancements are in brachytherapy as I discuss the particular design, the particular device that I'm working on, that I am the head of engineering for. So the science behind it is simple. We have a radioactive seed. So it's planted either near or when you remove the tumor right there. So it's a targeted therapy. So that's where, the targeted aspect of it is there, internal therapy. Direct tumor placement. So think of it like right where you take the tumor out, you can put it right there. And obviously you need to take the tumor out to get the cancer out, but a lot of the cancer that's residual or if it recurs or if it relapses. So a relapse of cancer, as we've heard a lot, or recurring of cancer, every time a cancer patient goes through chemotherapy, they come back, they do another surgery because they found cancer again. So that would be such a case where brachytherapy is really good because it's targeted therapy. So you plant it right when you take the tumor out, and you plant it in the space where the tumor exists. So it's a targeted, and it's a therapy that basically prevents recurrence or relapse of the cancer. So it happens again and again. So you basically kill it right there at the source in terms of relapse or being able to like recur it. So I hope that makes sense as well. Precision targeting. So we talked about the target impact of brachytherapy. You put the seeds right where the cancer is. That's what precision targeting talks about, is targeted therapy. So there's two types of brachytherapy. I personally do mostly deal with low dose rate, which is called LDR. And then there's the high dose rate, which is essentially more so, you go through a surgery and, high dose rate would be something like 2 or 3 days or 1 day surgery. You're going through and you're getting a lot more higher dose of the radioactivity. So basically a seed is planted in your in your organ, like stomach or wherever you have the cancer, and then they take it out. Whereas low dose rate is more permanent seed implant. Normally they just decay in your body, and it's just like a titanium. So it's just like a rod or a plate or a screw that you get. It's biocompatible titanium, so it can just stay in your body. It's a permanent seed implant at that point. So that's mostly what low dose rate is. So I mostly work with low dose rate, just for everybody's awareness. The therapy and the product that we're going to talk about today is called GammaTal, which I am the head of engineering for here in the US. And essentially that is more so dedicated to low dose rate, and essentially is a permanent seed implant that's put in different parts of the body, and the specific product is in the brain tumor side. So some of you had indicated that when you think of cancer treatment, you want to think about how chemotherapy and side effects come along. So I want you to think about, brachytherapy has very minimal unwanted effects. So you think about like how many unwanted side effects you get from chemotherapy. You have loss of hair. Let's say if your brain tumor exists right here, you have, if you can see in my video, you have like all these electrons and external beams and excited particles and radiation coming your way. It has to go through your skull and your brain and your hair first to reach the actual tumor. So when you think about it, your entire brain, your entire head is being exposed to this radiation. And so you have different kinds of motor abilities in your brain, how you talk like I am right now, or your hands indication. A lot of these are controlled by your brain. But if the radiation has to go through your good cells to reach the tumor cells, that actually impacts your motor skills. So if you're thinking about, if you can see my actions through the video right now, what I'm trying to indicate is like for something to actually reach my targeted therapy, it has to go through everything else. So that means my hair, my head, all the other part of the brain. And that's the biggest side effect. It's not targeted. The actual part of chemotherapy, radiation therapy, external therapy is that it has to go through all your good cells to be able to reach the actual tumor. So when we think about that, we think about what are the effects that the patients are going to have. So, the patients and their families, they have to go back to the hospitals again and again. They can't spend that time with their families. And that's a big part of patient satisfaction and emotional, preparedness, as some of you called in the early slides that we were talking about in the sort of like the small game that we played. So the emotional aspect of it, the family aspect of it, the convenience of being able to just do this at home. That's a big part. Move on to the next slide where we talk about what are the different applications of brachytherapy. So you can talk about in different types of cancers. The base is always the seed. So seed is like seed therapy, which is basically an implant of the titanium seed that we talked about. And then there's different applicators, catheters, we have needles. What I work on personally is the biodegradable side. So the biodegradable is basically the particular product that I work on is called GammaTile. We'll go through that in the next few slides. But that's actually what basically is put in the brain tumor side of if the specific type of tumor we treat with GammaTile is basically brain tumors. So you put a tile in there, it's bioabsorbable, it's biodegradable. So it basically just is absorbed by the body. It's a collagen tile. I'll go through that here in the next few slides. This is one of the modern applications right now that's becoming really big is like the sensors, being able to put some vision into it and AI. And basically what it is this particular case is a 3D printed applicator. So combined with the seed side of it, if you want to deliver it to a specific organ, right now the feature that we're working on is being able to deliver the seed in a 3D printed applicator before the day of the surgery, and the seed could have, maybe some kind of AI or vision to it, where it's being able to track the targeted therapy. And this case, obviously, you can print whatever the body needs. The previous speaker was talking about from Finland. She was talking about how it's individualized treatment, right? So you could have this 3D printed for a specific patient for their organ when they're making an applicator. This is actually 3D printed, and this applicator would be basically, it sits, just before the organ. So this would be stomach or whatever. Brain tumor would be the brain. For stomach, it would be the stomach. Different types of cancer in the body. And you'd have this applicator, and then the needles would go in the hole. So you see these positions 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. The needles would go right here with the titanium small seeds that we were talking about before. So this could be made for any patient, basically overnight. So these are the different types of cancer. We already spoke about it. The prostate, skin, lung, cervical, breast cancer, stomach cancer. All of these are being treated by brachytherapy for the last 100 years. Not today, actually for the last 100 years. But we've taken some of those, and now we work on the brain tumor side, which I'm going to get to in 2-3 slides, and that's the product that I work on. That's sort of like the future, and that's been the very big change in the industry that we see from chemotherapy moving towards actual treatment that helps patients and minimalizes their impact in terms of being able to go to the hospital again for radiation. They don't need to go again and again because the implant is permanent in their body, and the effects of it last for a few days, and then you're able to go back to your normal life. So high success rate, as you talked about, recovery time, you don't have to go through external radiation or chemotherapy again and again to the hospitals. So then you're able to spend your time with your family. That's a very big thing. And quality of life definitely matters. Okay, so what is the therapy that I work on? I've been talking about it for a while, gamma tile. What is gamma tile? Gamma tile is basically a bioabsorbable collagen tile. It literally looks like a small square, 4 centimeters big. And it takes four titanium seeds, and it literally puts them inside a bioabsorbable collagen tile. And that is actually what's put inside a brain tumor. So you can see right here in this video, this is a tile. And if you look at the black dots here, those represent this radioactive seeds. So when you put this inside a patient, when you take the tumor out, specifically for brain tumors, and specifically for 2 different types of brain tumors that I can go in detail about. But essentially what we're doing is we're taking the tumor out, we're putting the tiles in. So the tumor's out, then it kills all of the radiation around the brain tumor when you take it out, specific part of that brain tumor. And by that, you're not hurting the different parts of the brain. So it's targeted therapy in that sense. So you can see they've taken the tumor out here. They've lined it up with gamma tiles. And then one last tile goes here. I'm going to seal that back up. And then those tiles absorb naturally over time, and the radiation leaks out from these seeds that you see. So each tile has 4 of them, 2 on the top, 2 on the bottom. So don't need to go through the hospital again, don't need to worry about radiation again. And it's targeted radiation, so you can see the impact. So the radiation leaks out right where your possible recurrence or relapse of the tumor happens, right where some of the tumor cells remain. So to prevent relapse and recurrence, this is the best treatment out there in the world because it's targeted and it only kills the cells that are tumors that have cancerous abilities, whereas not affecting the other parts of the brain. So over time, the bioabsorbable collagen tile collapses, and now you just have some few small little titanium seeds left that are biocompatible, just like any other implant in your body. So you can see the side cross section here of the brain. And so if your tumor is somewhere, in sort of what we call in the tumor world, glioblastomas, meningiomas, brain metastases, those are the kind of tumors that you're trying to treat with this specific device. And so here you're able to see how it kills, what the clinical outcomes are. So this in specific is talking about meningioma, which is one type of brain tumor, and then brain metastases, which is another type of brain tumor, without going into too much detail. So you can see that this therapy, gamma tile therapy, compared to external radiation or chemotherapy, the patient will live longer on average. The patient is able to enjoy their life with their family without going to the hospital again and again, and it prevents tumor recurrence. So that's what this last part of the video is talking about. So we'll move on to the next slide about gamma tile, so I can show you the product that I work on even more in depth. So this is what the product I make and work on looks like. So this is literally a physical cutout of it. You can kind of see this is what a tile is. So in each tile, there's 4 seeds. So seeds, just normal cesium isotope radioactive seed. It's a titanium seed, 4.5 millimeters long, look exactly like this, welded on each side. It's just a capsule, for lack of better words. The seed is nothing but a capsule. So think of it like, just another capsule. And it's a sealed source. We have the radioactive isotope in the case that I work for this specific one is cesium-131. It's a low-level activity radioactive isotope. And essentially, this capsule, you have the radioactive source cesium inside it. Then you have the titanium shell. This is the biocompatible side of it. And once you put it in these collagen tiles, four seeds in each tile, this becomes bioabsorbable. And that's the actual part that's put in the brain is this tile with 4 radioactive seeds inside it. That's sort of the basic science behind it in a very simple way. And you can see, so one of these tiles has 4 seeds, and then you would have multiple tiles in the part of the brain that needs that specific targeted therapy. So in this case, it looks like it is the left side frontal lobe over that side. You're taking out the tumor and you're lining it up with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and the last one's going to go here. So that's about 6 to 7 tiles, one on the bottom as well. So that's about 28. If you look at 7 tiles, 4 seeds each, that'll be 28 radioactive seeds. So this is just one of the examples from one of the hospitals and doctors that use our product to treat cancer patients and brain tumor patients in Mayfield Clinic, as you can tell here from the name. So this basically is a picture of where you can see the seeds being placed. It's very, very small. This is enlarged for human reference, but they are, fairly small. You're talking about millimeters, right? So you can kind of see 4 millimeters thick, and then, in terms of the length, it's 20 millimeters wide. So it's 2 centimeters by 4 centimeters. I hope that helps. Move on to, so you can see another video here of the product that I work on. So I love the videos because it's able to, explain so much about what this innovative treatment is. So again, you can kind of tell the size of the tile here. It's very, very small. It's holding it up by a tweezer. Talked about the cesium radioactive seeds, 4 of them each. Talked about the size, 2 centimeter, 4 millimeter thickness. So you can tell basically limited side effects, and you're able to have targeted therapy. Okay, so why is GammaTal so important? Well, nobody's really done any innovation in the last 30, 40 years. So when GammaTal was launched, about 3, 4 years ago, the premise, our goal, our focus was to essentially provide an option for people who are diagnosed with brain tumor, who are at the end of their life, right? We are the last hope. GammaTal is literally the last hope when they think about for tumor treatment, for brain tumor, prevention, and that's where we come in. We help people who have lost all hope live longer, and to me that's very satisfying. As an engineer, I feel very proud to work on this product. I feel like I have purpose in that sense. And it's something that I've seen, and experienced firsthand with the patients that we come across. And it truly helps with the fact that it's a targeted therapy, that, you have less radiation because it's targeted and precisely it's internal. And because of all these things, you're able to spend more time with your family, the patient outcomes improve. So that is something that I'm truly proud of, that I truly love as an aspect of being able to work on this product. So I'm just going to show you quickly here, sort of a little bit more about the product in 2, 3 minutes, and then we can wrap this up. So you can kind of tell this is the seed. So here's the advantage, obviously targeted therapy, less time, tumor recurrence is basically prevented because it's targeted and leaks after the tumor is removed. So that means you're able to have a controlled. The half-life is fairly small for cesium-131. It's about 10 days, so 9.7 days, which means most of the radiation is actually killed within a week or 2 after your surgery. So that's good because then you're able to spend time with your family. You don't have to go through the hospital again and again with chemotherapy. And there's less chances of recurring because normally when you take the tumor out, the cancer comes back in the first 1 or 2 weeks. You have cancer growth. And then the patients hear about it a year or 2 later that they have cancer again, right? And usually the cancer recurrence is actually within the first few weeks after you kill your cancer because there's some small cells or some cancer remaining, and that's what is good about this treatment is it's able to kill that recurrence or relapse as it happens. So you can kind of see different types of isotopes. In our case, it's cesium-131. It's a shorter half-life than other isotopes, which are, maybe even a month or two long, as you can tell here. So those are like the better aspects of it, the positive aspects of it. This is the clinical evidence. This is FDA-cleared treatment, as everybody knows here. I've said that this has been around for 3-4 years. I'm currently working on the next generation of this product with the engineering and manufacturing team of my company. We're trying to develop the next generation of this product, and hopefully we'll look at a few different things and vision and the wire that sits inside it for MRI. So I'll probably discuss that if there's any questions later. But in terms of the clinical data and studies, FDA cleared. So it's pretty much, it's pretty much being able to see all of the actual impacts of it. So you can tell that it increased patient life by, a big margin compared to chemotherapy. The other aspect of it that you can tell from all this data is that it reduces the risk of tumor or recurrence or death by greater than 50% compared to the standard of care, which is what? Which is chemotherapy. So basically, this treatment, it helps people live longer, and it reduces, a case of tumor recurrence or death by greater than 50% when you compare it to chemotherapy. So that's how powerful this treatment is, and I just want you to think about that as you think about, what are the advantages and why I work on this product and why I'm proud of it. I'll move back to the last few slides of the presentation here. So we have any questions for me, and I will leave my contact information as well. So we can take questions from the audience now. Go ahead and ask me any questions you want about any of the things we discussed today. Any questions from any of the students or any of the professors or anybody
Sir, I
interested?
have a question. May I ask?
Go for it. Go for it. Yeah.
Yeah. Sir, after your 9.4 days, that gamma camera will work for a very short time, okay? So after that time, how it will be removed from our body?
Yeah,
And
so it's
another question, second question is, so you are placing this gamma tile in that void space. Void space means after removing the tumor, there must be a void space. So after implanting the gamma tile, is it possible to that void space will be the new tissue will be grown or not?
Yeah, no, that's great questions right there, those two questions. So let me answer the first part of the question. So you were asking that does it need to be removed? So actually it does not need to be removed. It's a permanent implant, which means when you're removing the tumor, so if you can see with this video, let's say if the tumor is this size, right? You take the tumor out, and once you've removed that tumor, because it's left this cavity, now you can implant the tiles in it. So depending on the size of the tumor and the size of the cavity, you could put as many tiles as you want. So in this specific example, this video I'm showing here with my screen and with my mouse pointer, there seems to be a big cavity. This is a big tumor. They took the tumor out. Once they took the tumor out, they lined up the cavity with, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, about 6, 7 tiles. And then these tiles will absorb. It's a bioabsorbable, collagen. So that once that absorbs, the only thing that'll be left is, literally 4 millimeter seeds. And those are biocompatible, just like any part of the body, right? You think about screws, titanium plates that are put in your legs or other parts of the body. It's the same exact material. It's titanium, grade 1 and grade 2 titanium. And it can just stay there. It doesn't impact your brain in any way. It doesn't impact your motor abilities in any way. And that cavity, you don't need to regrow any tissue or cavity there. That cavity is where the tumor existed. It's a very small, it's enlarged so you can see it, but it's actually a very small cavity. Very, very small cavity. I hope that answers the two questions. Good question.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Yes, anybody else who wants to ask anything to Mr. Angadbir regarding this brachytherapy and gamma tile?
Yeah, I have one question.
Yes, ma'am.
Sure.
What about the price of this the small chip, and is it available in India?
Yeah, so currently we are licensed to sell pretty much in the US. So we're FDA cleared, and we are also licensed to sell this in Canada, which is called MDSAP. So FDA and MDSAP cleared. I'm pretty sure if somebody wants this product in India, which we're working on currently, so I work directly with the co-founders of the company as well. And some of my family members and some of my relatives in India actually needed it. So right now we're only in mostly in North America. We've done a few cases in Peru. We have a few cases in the Middle East. So we are trying to expand it globally. So that's in terms of where the product can come. So the product is shippable anywhere in the world where the FDA is recognized. So it's US FDA cleared. That means that any place that recognizes the FDA standards, we can ship and we can actually use it as a cancer treatment anywhere in the world where the FDA clearance is accepted. So that's the first answer to your question. The second part was cost. I think it differs. It differs on the, in terms of what geography, how many tiles, if it's a big patient, small patient, all things like that. So I'm not a sales guy, so I won't be able to tell you. I just make the product. I don't sell the product, I just make the product. But I know that in the US and in Canada, most of the insurances cover it. So that's as far as the cost goes. It is.
Actually, it is unaware about this therapy.
Yeah,
Actually,
no,
yeah.
it's as I said, it's only 3-4 years old, so it's cutting edge. It's very innovative. It's very today, and I'm actually working on the next generation of the product myself, and I can tell you that cost-wise, it's way better than chemotherapy because in chemotherapy, the hospitals charge you more because they bought $1 million machine or whatever. Actually, radiation therapy, if you think about it, external radiation, those machines are very expensive and that's why the hospitals charge so much to the patients. And you probably know about this, but to get chemotherapy you need to go to the hospital again and again. So that's where the cost aspect of external radiation, not just the health aspect or the family or the emotional angle, but even the time and the money aspect of external and chemotherapy, it doesn't make sense because you have to go again and again to the hospital, and you have to go through different stages of chemotherapy. So it's a no-brainer when you look at the cost side. 100%. Good question.
Thank you. Yes, thank you. One more thing is that, do you have some papers related to this research?
I can share with you the clinical data. It's available online actually. One is called Rhodes and one is called Gestalt. So you'll see these two different types of FDA clinical data. So you can kind of see Rhodes, and then let me just go through that. I can send it later if you want. Just drop me an email. I can send you this data. It's publicly available, all of this.
Okay, thank you.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening. How are you?
I'm fine, sir. I have a doubt. Actually, if it is in heart related, some stunts will be there, and most of the time doctors will advise maximum of 2 to 3 stents to heart patient. How many these gamma tiles are advisable? Because you said that the cancer is recurable.
Yeah.
So if you find, after a period of time, maybe it is producing somewhere else in the any of the body, any part of the body. So at that time, can we use the different thing, and how many are advisable?
Sure, that's actually a great question. I'm not a doctor, but I'll try to answer it to the best of my knowledge. So, your question is if the cancer relapses or shows up in different parts of the body, so not the brain, then where and how would you treat it? So you can treat it with a lot of different ways, but in terms of brachytherapy or brachytherapy, how you would treat it is with the use of radioactive seeds. So essentially, your first line of defense is going to be radioactive seeds there. So I'll just show you an image of the radioactive seed here, so it makes sense. And how many of these seeds, that truly depends on how much, the size of the tumor that you're taking out is. So how much radiation is needed? That's the question that the oncologist and your radiologist and your neurologist, those are usually the three people when it comes to brain. and then other parts of the body would be the oncologist and the radiologist. They have to come together with the surgeon to decide how many seeds are you going to be wanting. But you can kind of see the size of this, right? This is very, very small, like super small. Like this is your finger right here, and you can tell like this seed is so small. It's just a titanium implant, just like other parts of the body, right? Your dental implants are titanium. Your different parts of the body, like your in your shoulder, you get plates or rods. Those are very big implants. These are very, very small implants. So it can stay in your body forever. No need to remove it. And how many, it truly depends on the size of the tumor. Great question again.
I'm not asking about how many, actually, how many are advisable. See, let us suppose 10 is okay for
Sure.
health, or let us suppose 12.
Sure.
Okay, if it is 2, not more than 2, not more than 3. I told you now an example of stunts. Maximum
Right.
for a person, maximum 3 stunts are advisable, not more than that. If it is more having any clots, then they will be advisable for bypass,
Right.
open heart
So,
surgery. In the same way, in this way, if you find several tumors, so how many can be advisable? Means how many we can keep?
yeah, no, that's actually a very good question too. So as far as I know, I've seen some patients get like 20, 30 seeds as well, and different parts of the body where they have more cancer. The best part about this, to answer your question directly, is because it's a low dose rate, right? So you could put more than one seed, more than 10 seeds in somebody's body to cure whatever type of cancer, as long as that level of radiation and the amount of tumor, the size of the tumor that they're killing makes sense. So that's the best part about this therapy, is because the half-life is only 9.7 days in this specific isotope. In other isotopes, I've seen the half-life go to maybe 2 or 3 weeks, maybe 4 weeks, like a month. So it's the radiation is actually only killing for about a month after the tumor is removed, right? So that's where the tumor relapse or recurrence happens. And so depending on the half-life, depending on the level of radioactivity, and depending on the tumor size, that's how they decide. Again, I'm not a doctor, but this is how the science and the engineering of it works. Is there a maximum? Not that I know of personally. There's probably is. But in terms of these low dose rates, it could be like more than one, more than several seeds inside somebody's body, and that's completely normal, depending on the size of the tumor and the length of the tumor requirements. That was a good question as well. Any other questions?
Yes, anybody having any question?
Yeah. Good evening in India and good morning in US, Dr. Singh, sir. Thank you very much. It's a very good, nice session you have, and you have enlightened me at the many aspects of implants. Thank you very much for that. Myself, Dr. Satyavrata, I am from Odisha. So my one question is there, sir. Am I audible to you?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah. My question is, as a part of the pharma background myself, I want to ask you, what is the stability profile of implant so that it can be useful for the society?
Sure. Yeah, that's a good question. Because this is a collagen tile, so the collagen, as you know, is basically a bioabsorbable part of it. Basically, collagen makes our skin. So in terms of the stability side, it's very stable. In terms of the radiation side of it, the radioactive seeds of it, it's titanium. So as you know, titanium is used in other parts of the body for all other implants in medical.
Yes.
So it's very, very stable. Very less chances of infection because it's collagen and titanium. So it's biocompatible and bioabsorbable. So those are the two very important words there. So in terms of cytotoxicity and the ability of the body to actually take this therapy and this radiation, it's very effective and very stable. Very less chances of any kind of infection, because this basically collagen is basically our skin, right? It's just literally taking your skin and putting it back in your body, essentially, at that point, to put it simply.
Yes, yes. Thank you. Thank you very much. One more thing is there. Sir, can you go for your last slide? In your
Sure.
yeah.
I will. Yep. You talking about like what particular thing do you want to see?
Last slide, sir. Actually,
Sure. I'll pull it up. Let it load. Sorry, a little slow here.
not this one, I think.
Yeah, I'll scroll towards the right. You're visible. My computer's a little slow. It's it's the morning, so the computer is just getting a little used to the day. It's still sleeping probably.
No, first of all, you wake up in the morning. In that morning, you have keep ready, and we thought, sir, thank you very much once again. You have
No, I love to
enlightened.
talk about this. Honestly, it hit home for me because two of my family members in India, one of them is here in Canada, and one of them was in India. Uh, they had brain tumor, and I was able to help them out. Get to know about the product. So that was a big thing for me. So I totally understand. Like, when it comes to somebody's life, if you can help somebody live longer, or if you can help somebody spend, their last few days of life, last years of life with family members rather than going to the hospital again and getting chemotherapy. Those are things that make me happy, right? So I truly think that when you work for a company or you work on a product or you make something that helps somebody live longer and helps somebody spend their time with their family, it means a lot. So that's what makes me get up in the morning, to answer your question.
Right, absolutely correct. For you, is there any patent for this? Is it available for your product?
Yeah. So this product is patented by GT Medical, the company that I work for. So they basically took the radioactive science or the brachytherapy side, and they combined it with a patent on delivering it just for brain tumors. And now we're trying to patent it for different sides of the body as well. So the radioactive seeds, they're used in different parts of the body, but the gamma tile is only used for. It's the only patented product for brain tumors, and so we're trying to expand to other parts of the body as well for the gamma tau. But the radioactive seeds can be put in any parts of the body. That science is about 100 years old, as I told in the starting of my
14
presentation.
వస్తాయి ఓకే
Oh,
14 ఓకే నాకు కావాల్సిన ఒకటి మామూలుగానే
great,
పాస్
sir.
కడతాం
Thank you
అవి
very much. Thank you very much
Mhm.
for enlightening me. And can you give me your contact number or something else you have shown on that slide so that
Yeah,
I
in
can
the
just
end, I'll put that slide on while we take more questions. Any other questions?
Yes, dear participants, if you have any questions regarding gamma tile brachytherapy with Mr. Angadbir is still with us. Anybody, any participant?
I hope that everybody got to take a lot out of this presentation, and I hope everybody realized that there's something better than chemotherapy out there. There's something that helps prevent recurrence and relapses of cancer and tumors. And I hope that, if nothing else, that everybody gained some kind of awareness and understood a little bit more about brachytherapy, and that you enjoyed, the start of the conversation with the small little game and word cloud and questions we posed to the audience. And I hope that you were able to engage and just, have some fun and also learn about something that impacts people and can help people live longer. Hopefully that was
Yes,
my message and my try. So I hope that you enjoyed that part of it.
definitely, sir. Thank you so much from my side and from our Amritsar campus side, and from participants also. Thank you very much for joining with us in the early part of the day. And you have surely inspired us, and you have, I myself also is a mechanical engineer, and I can definitely, get with your terms, the titanium and tiles and how to make that, and that kind of thing. And surely this was very engaging session, this session was. And the way you started, and you tried to get interactive with your audiences, that was also very good. And I also have learned so many things. I was unaware of this brachytherapy and gamma tile. I have heard it for the very first time in my life. And really we will also discuss these kind of thing with our colleagues and friends also, and tell them that this kind of breaking technology has been coming up. And definitely, I think it should come to India also. And since you're Indian, and I think you should, try to spread to most part of India also. And
That's
whenever
the
you
goal.
come, definitely. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, audience, and thank you so much, Angadbir ji, for joining us for last session of today. Thank you so
My,
much.
my pleasure. My pleasure. Absolutely. Thank you so much for, learning about this, and hopefully it can help somebody, and help somebody in need, and help somebody who needs this treatment. And hopefully the audience enjoyed that. Thank you so much. I appreciate
Thank
it.
you. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir, indeed.
Have a nice day. Good night, everyone. Take care.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you. So, dear participants, with this, we are coming to the end of the second session of the day. So, now afterwards, you can leave the session. And one more thing, I just want to tell you that please sign in while joining the Zoom meeting. Because we have to take the attendance also, and by signing in, we'll be able to take your attendance precisely. So thank you very much for joining and listening patiently. Good evening. Thank you very much. So you may leave now.